NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here, breaking down the potential buyers and sellers at the NFL trade deadline. Who could make a move to strengthen their team, and who could be looking to pick up assets for the future as they are trying to tank. We'll go over all of those teams, the needs, and the potential players that are out there in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, I want you to follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter. And here's what I'm going to do. For the first 10 people that follow me on X today, at Tyler Jones Live, I'm going to follow you back. I'm posting NFL coverage on there, in particular about the Seattle Seahawks, where I host Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Check me out on X. I'm following the first 10 back. Let's see who follows me, and I'll show you some love there on X. Let's start with the buyers. I begin with the Kansas City Chiefs as the first potential buyer here. Now, the Chiefs have already made some moves at this point with going after McCole Hardman from the New York Jets, and Frank Clark looks like he's on his way back. So those two needs have been addressed, but I don't necessarily think that they will stop there potentially. We've heard the Chiefs mention when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins or Marquise Brown or some of these other receivers out there. There's plenty of edge rushers that are on the market. I know Danielle Hunter has been mentioned for Kansas City as well. Look out for the Chiefs as a team that knows they're contending for a Super Bowl to be aggressive. Brett Veach has a track record of doing that. The Chiefs could be one of those teams. The top seller at the trade deadline has to be, without question, the Denver Broncos. It has been a dumpster fire of a season. Russell Wilson continues to suck. Sean Payton has made some bad decisions. And that roster is just not simply playing to its potential. So, with that said, who do they have available? Actually, some decent talent. That receiving core is pretty solid. Russ just can't get these guys the football. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton are out there. Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson aren't bad. And then Jewell and Bolles also are a couple other potential options. If you're looking for line help, linebacker, safety, or wide receiver, the Broncos have a little bit of everything potentially to help out your roster. But an ongoing discussion over the last couple of weeks, if you had to pick one to trade for, which guy would you rather have? Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton? We're asking you guys in the comment section or pinned comment today. Type JJ for Jerry Jeudy. Type CS for Cortland Sutton. Let us know what you think. Back to the buyers list we go. That's where we find the defending NFC champion, Philadelphia Eagles. And I got to tell you, the Eagles have been known to be aggressive with Howie Roseman, with the decisions that he's made as general manager. Right now, they are looking for secondary help. The Eagles, very solid football team. Might have the best roster 1 through 53. But their one kind of glaring weakness right now that they could be looking for is help in that secondary position. And luckily for them, there's plenty of guys out there on that market where they could make a move. Back to the sellers list we go. We find the Carolina Panthers, who had the number 1 pick last year, courtesy of the Chicago Bears in a trade they made to get Bryce Young. But they don't have any talent around Bryce Young. And so they're looking to sell, get rid of some guys like Brian Burns and others, unload some big contracts potentially. Jeremy Chin looks like he's going to miss 6 weeks, could end up playing for a playoff contender. Terrence Marshall Jr. is out there. He's not off to a great start so far this year. Watch out for some of these guys to have a new home and for the Panthers to try to get more capital to help them for this upcoming draft. Back to the buyers list, a team that not a lot of people had high hopes for entering 2023. That is the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams, I don't think they're going to be contending to win the division by any means, but they look like a wild card caliber team. Now, there are a few weaknesses, but as the Rams have done in the past, we've heard them say, F them picks, right? So maybe they could be in position to give up some of those picks to acquire an edge or a running back or an offensive lineman and try to take that next step. And this could be the last go-round of sorts for Stafford and Donald and those guys there, so watch out for the LA Rams. Back to the sellers list now. That is where we find the New York Football Giants. This might be the most disappointing team in football this year. The Giants thought that they were going to be a playoff caliber team. their roster. They made aggressive moves, bringing in Darren Waller and Isaiah Simmons, and there was a lot of talk about Brian Dable in his second year. Now here they are with only one win to show for it this time. Saquon Barkley's not coming back next year. Going to have a lot of teams interested in him. We've seen Adoree Jackson, Xavier McKinney have their moments. Sterling Shepard's been a solid receiver over the years, but he's had problems staying healthy. And then there's Leonard Williams, who might be the best defensive lineman on the market out there for teams looking for help in the interior. Watch out for Leonard Williams potentially to be a guy for the Giants to have their phone ringing for. Are the Giants the most disappointing team in the NFL? I think so. Do you agree? If you agree, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Let us know what you think in that comment section below. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is one of our newest partners here at Chat Sports. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Here's how it works, folks. You pick two or more players, and it's real simple. They have a number that they are giving, whether it comes to yards or receptions or carries, whatever it may be. And you simply have to choose, will they have more or less than the given number attached to them? Like me, for example, this week, I like Baker Mayfield to have more than 221.5 passing yards, and I like Kirk Cousins to have more than 232.5 passing yards in his game. Here's what Prize Picks is offering for our viewers of NFL Daily. They're offering a $100 deposit match. If you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, you can get that $100 deposit match. So check it out. See for yourself if you like it or not. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Check them out. Tell them Tyler Jones sent you. You'll be glad you did. Back to the buyers list, we find the Detroit Lions now. The Detroit Lions having the best season they have had in years, folks. They are a fascinating football team right now. And when you look at the Detroit Lions, the thing that they're looking for is secondary help. We've seen them get into some shootouts this year, and their secondary get a little attacked here. They're about to get some players back from suspension and company. Watch out for the Detroit Lions to find what they're looking for in the secondary. Back to the sellers list we go. We find the Minnesota Vikings, another one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. They moved on from Dalvin Cook before the season began, and the running game has not really found its footing, no pun intended. The defense isn't very good. Other than Danielle Hunter and a couple other guys, they've got some weaknesses. So where does that put the Vikings? Well, they got some valuable pieces that could make a difference on many teams across the league. Ezra Cleveland, his PFF scores are 70+, very good in almost every category. Danielle Hunter is having a career season. Harrison Smith, DJ, these guys here, there's some interesting prospects for the Vikings and to jumpstart this rebuild to get some pretty decent draft capital here for them. Back to the buyers list, we find the Buffalo Bills, who the last two seasons have been eliminated in the divisional round of the playoffs. What can they do to take that next step potentially to get Josh Allen and that team over the hump? They are looking for help at corner. And think about when it comes playoff time, when they're facing teams like Kansas City and Cincinnati and others here, they're going to need some help to defend those high-powered offenses. The cornerback position, if they can find a corner, that will go a long way for that Buffalo Bills team. What team will be the most aggressive at the NFL trade deadline? Name them in that comment section. What team you think that is, and let us know what you think in the comment section below. We continue with sellers now. The New England Patriots. The Patriots. It has been bad for New England. They're 1-5 right now, about to play the Bills and the Dolphins. They're going to be 1-7 in no time, and questioning Bill Belichick's future as far as that goes. Patriots have quite a few players that could be getting phone calls for, including Kendrick Bourne, who's off to the best start of his career, Trent Brown, Kyle Duggar, who's a very solid DB, Hunter Henry, who's not a bad tight end, Jalen Mills, and then Josh Uche as well at the linebacker spot, who had over 11 sacks last year. So look out for those guys to be potential options on the trade market. Another buyer is the LA Chargers. I know the Chargers are at 2-3 right now, but that is a team that in all three losses have been very close games. they are a couple possessions away from their season being a completely different story. We know that they have a very good quarterback in Justin Herbert, but he doesn't have much to get the ball to at the moment. They need receiver help to get that offense going, to take that next step. Justin Herbert's got to find somebody to get the football to. Watch out for them to go after receiver. Another selling team, the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, it is the end of an era, it feels like, as we've seen them just kind of stand in their own way and make dumb decisions that have set this team back ever since they were the number one seed in the AFC. It has been downhill ever since. One name to watch for specifically, that is Derrick Henry. Some of you are going to bring up Ryan Tannehill, but I don't know why anyone and their mother would want Ryan Tannehill right now because he looks awful, and he got hurt last week too. But Derrick Henry, I expect the Titans to get a lot of calls for at the deadline. Still one of the best backs in football. He looked good last week against Baltimore. He's an every down back. He is spectacular. Think about a team like the Ravens potentially who know they're a good football team but need help at running back. Derrick Henry, there's going to be some phone calls to Tennessee. They're not bringing him back next year. Might as well try to get something out of him while they can. For more NFL coverage, subscribe now to NFL Daily as we're talking about the National Football League every day. We got our live shows twice a week. We have our Red Zone channel on Sundays, Q&A, interactive mailbags, and more. If you love the National Football League, this is the channel for you. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. Last on our buyers list, we go to Baltimore Buyers Club. Not Dallas Buyers Club. See what I did there? The Ravens. This is a team that looks very talented on paper, but they've been getting in their own way at points this year. And they could use one more pass rusher. They could use an edge rusher, and there's plenty of options for them. When you talk about the identity of the Baltimore Ravens, historically speaking, it's a great defense. We know they have Roquan Smith. They know they have Patrick Queen. Watch out. They could make a move for one more star and a pass rusher at that edge position to complete that defense. Last on the sellers list, you already knew it. It was the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, one of the worst teams in the league, could be in contention for that number one pick. They're not a very good team, but they still have a few players that other teams could want. Budda Baker, probably the most noteworthy. Still one of the best safeties in football. Marquise Brown, he's been kind of a disappointment since he came to Arizona, but still one of the fastest receivers in the league. And then there's Zach Ertz. He's a bit older now. Wouldn't cost you as much as he would have a couple of years ago, but still a decent tight end. So we'll see where these guys ultimately end up. Give me a follow on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Tyler Jones Live. Remember, I'm following the first 10 people that follow me off of today's show. And I'll see you next time right here on NFL Day.